his valuable time with us. Thank you very much, sir.
Pleasure.
Good evening, sir, and good evening to all of you. Myself, Dr. Jugal Mutta. I'm student of Department of Hospital Management, semester third, and I'm moderator for today's session. As we have launched series Arogya, and it is a very historic event for us that sir joined with us, and also that virtually our new batch and our present batch is a first time attending a session held today's our topic is VUCA World Transitioning for a Career in a Healthcare Management. So this event is expected to highlight career transition in field of healthcare management, which is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous in nature. And sir will surely clarify our all doubts and illusions regarding this VUCA world. And Honorable Head of the Department, Dr. K.K. Patel, sir, who has been associated with this institute since inception and nourishing with his academic excellence and commitment. Our Professor Dr. Bhupinder Chaudhary, sir, who is very famous among the students for his very kind and generous nature, and also for the academic excellence and international exposure. And now I like to introduce to all of the friends to our renowned today's speaker, Dr. Raj Rajan S. Sir. Sir is Senior Vice President in Partnership and Clinical Workflow Strategies for QR Healthcare Solution in India Private Limited, which is at present a subsidiary of Ventec Solutions of USA. He is also a CEO with the responsibility of profit and loss. He is a member of various society like American College of Healthcare Executive, life member of the Consortium of Accreditation Healthcare Organization, the Research Foundation of Hospital and Healthcare Administration, and Telemedicine Society India. At present, he is pursuing Executive General Management Program from IIN Tiruchirappalli. He completed Management MSc in Psychology. He is also a Faculty of Innovation and Design, Faculty of Management in Chennai. So we can guess that not a single sector of healthcare management is left here, that he is master of all the subjects. So it is our great pleasure to have him with us. And if you have any question, please drop your question during the chat box. At the end of the session, that we will ask each and every question one by one to sir to clear your doubts. Thank you, sir, and please start your.
Thank you, Jugal, and let me share the screen. Yeah, thank you all. So to start with, Professor K.K. Patel, Professor Bhupinder Chaudhary, the faculty members and the board members of H.N.G.U. University, H.N.G.U. Patan. It's really a pleasure to be here amidst all your students and especially healthcare management students. Takes me back to my days when I was a healthcare management student myself. And yeah, I have a very close tryst with Gujarat because when I completed my master's in health service management with Apollo Hospitals, I was for my internship I was placed at Ahmedabad, and then I continued to start working at Ahmedabad. So that's where I started my career. So Gujarat always has a special place in my heart, and I was there in Gujarat for about 5.5, 6 years. So Todu Todu Gujarati Audu. So yeah, kindly bear with me. I would not be able to speak more than that at this point of time. I've been out of touch and stuff. But yeah, so today what I would be talking to you is all about transitioning for a career in healthcare management in this VUCA world. Okay, so what is happening out there? You know, all of you have a lot of doubts in your mind, doubts about your career, or even about what you should be doing. I would like to go on record, so especially thank and my good friend Mr. Pavan Dugal as well, who has been a bridge for connecting me with your universities. So yeah, so in this session, I would like to do as much of justice. I'm also a student, as you all. After about 16, 17 years of uh, taking a break from education, I decided 2020, 21 would be again a period when I would invest into education, time into education, so that again, for me as a personal career friend, it would further make me a better person and take me to what to say, greater glory as such. So I'm with this company called Cure Health Solutions India Private Limited. It was earlier called as Global Mantra Innovations here in India. The principal of the company is Ventec Solutions. It's a US-based company. So Ventec Solutions is actually the largest contractor with the CMS. We've heard of CMS in the US, the government health scheme is managed by them. So the Medicare, Medicaid, and all is taken care by them. So we are the largest contractors for them. When I say we are largest contractors, we have data center. So we provide them with the data and infra support. So all this data comes and gets stored with us. The national healthcare quality data also resides with us. In fact, that makes us one of the largest healthcare data center in the world. We have about 43 petabytes of healthcare data over there. So we started our service here in India a long time back. A year back, last October, I joined this company, and we were planning to do medical records digitalization for hospitals, and that's how we started. But then COVID struck, and soon we immediately shifted gears so that we started providing telemedicine services. In that also, we want to differentiate ourselves from others. So that's going to be the key. So we got into a lot of these special things in our telemedicine setup, or even in a digital health setup, by introducing a voice-based AI healthcare assistant called Sheila. So Sheila would be able to help on the clinical workflows as well. It's an aid to the doctors, and it is based on the doctor's customization. Sheila can talk to the patients as well. So we want to do a lot of proactive patient engagement, for which we'll be using a lot of real world data and real world experiences, which are garnered by the patient records and stuff, chronic disease management and interoperability between health data. So I don't have to say much about that because a lot of things are being done currently in India, including the National Digital Health Mission, which was recently launched. I'm sure you would all be aware of HL7 FHIR, Fast Healthcare Interoperability Resources. So we've got the sandbox, and we are also aligned with the national movement on this. So that's a brief introduction about what I do as part of my company, leading the partnerships and the clinical workflow strategies for them. Now, start with respect to healthcare management as a career. So when all of you came in as students, you would have some dream. I would like to quote from a very famous leader. Uh, Dream is not what you get when you sleep, but rather that which you keeps you awake and tries to get you towards it, work towards it and stuff. Just paraphrasing it for you guys. So that's the important thing. So each of you should have a dream. Each of you, probably you might be having nightmares thinking about your semester exams and stuff. But in this whole journey of hospital management, I would say enjoy the moment, relish the moment, understand the concepts We are not here to study and get marks for the exams. Okay, that also helps because it provides you with a lot of options when you have to pick the the toppers are given options to pick which company they would like to apply, and as it goes down the options decreases. So if you are at the top of the class, it is good. Scoring marks is good, but somebody who has enough subject knowledge but who would not be able to apply the subject knowledge would be a bigger failure in the market. So that is something which you all need to be wary about early in your career. Education is a tool. Your professors, your university, your infrastructure can provide you to a certain extent only. Beyond that, it is your own aptitude, your own interest with which you need to study. And when I say study, understand concepts which you would be able to apply in your workplaces at a later date. So that is going to be the key. Now, coming back to mission. Say, when I joined Apollo Hospitals Ahmedabad, so my mentor was then the CEO of Apollo Hospitals Ahmedabad. So the first day when I met him, so he was asking each of us, where do you see yourself in 5 years, in 10 years, and all this stuff. So I was telling him that so probably in 10 years I would like to become another CEO and stuff, a CXO. So that was my mission back then, and to get a six-digit monthly salary and stuff, to be an innovator, to become famous or popular, to become an entrepreneur, to retire early, to have a work life balance, to become a healthcare leader, or to make a difference as an enabler, guide, mentor, augmenter. So any of our dream as a healthcare management personnel or as a healthcare management student will broadly fall into any of this. This is the larger than life dream. This is something which we are striving to achieve. Okay, so I had, you can't pick all. So the thing is, if you want to be very, very successful financially, you might be popular also, but then you would not be doing a lot of very good work to the community. So you can't make a real big difference. Difference can only be made in the available time other than a corporate life and stuff. So you need to pick. I would ideally suggest each of you to have at least two or three of this as your main core objectives of your mission. This will drive you. And again, early in my healthcare career, I was introduced to reading a lot of healthcare management related books. And one of my all-time favorite, there are some more books which would keep coming, but one of my all-time favorites is this book called Hardwiring Excellence by Quinn Studer. Talks about fire starter and all the stuff. So he says that for whatever we do, when we know the purpose, we would be able to identify that the work that we are doing is worthwhile, and that would make a huge difference. So he goes on to talk about the principles, the pillar results, and the passion. And if you have time and if your library has this, or if you can buy this out, it's available in Amazon, or you can even get it in Kindle or other such download platforms. I would say that this would be a good start if you have not started reading healthcare management related books. So the slide, as I said, I want you all to pick two or three at least in this slide and have a dream, a 10-year plan. This is what you want to do and stuff. Now, everybody says you all have to be smart. Okay. But smart is for you. So you need to be very specific what you want to focus on. So healthcare management, when I was in a career crossroad, when I went to my mentor and asked him, it was my first career transition because I was part of the internship. I went to Apollo Ahmedabad. I was absorbed into working in Apollo Ahmedabad at the CEO's office. So it was not much of a decision that I had to make for that first job of mine. But then, when an organization, a US based organization, was setting up a cancer center inside Apollo hospitals called CBCC, and when I had to transition to CBCC for fueling their India dreams, it was a difficult thing because I was like, okay, here I am in Apollo hospitals in a multi-specialty unit. So should I make a transition into a niche specialty like oncology? So I always had my doubts and fears whether I am doing the right thing. But again, my mentor and some of the few other wonderful people that I had around at that point of time told me the importance of getting into specific and niche areas which would differentiate you from the regular others. So like whenever I meet with healthcare management students now, 90% of the students want to get into either quality or HR operations. These are the major three. 90 to 95 percentage is between healthcare quality, healthcare operations, and healthcare HR, and especially hospitals only. Operations and healthcare HR, and especially hospitals only. When we were planning this event also, so the idea of this event is to expose you to the plethora of opportunities out there. So, you need not be like wearing a blinder and be so focused only on hospitals, but there is a lot many other things. But then in many of these things, you can get into specifics. So we would see how those would matter and stuff, and pick a goal that is measurable so you can continually monitor your progress. So when I was asked around 21 years by in 22 years I was, when I was asked this question, I said in 10 years I see myself as a CEO. And yes, I was a CEO of a company in 8 years time. I was a CEO of a diagnostic company which had about six centers in Chennai, and I was the CEO. I was getting a six-digit salary then, and yeah, but six-digit salary came probably when in a stint before that as well, when I was working in Nagpur. So at that time itself, when I left CBCC, the cancer company, I was the founding employee of the company, and it was very difficult for me to leave them after 5.5 years, setting up a few of the cancer centers in Ahmedabad, Raipur, starting some of the cancer center work in Indore, uh, Trichy, Chennai, and a few others which were there. So it was a very difficult transition for me. But then, yeah, I transitioned for the first time after my long stint with CBCC into a company called Agneja Heart Institute. It was a partner to Fortis Escorts back then, and I joined as the vice president. And at that time, I had about a 7-8 year experience. Now I have about 16, 17 years of experience. But then, in a span of 7-8 year experience, I was able to transition into a six-digit salary, is what I would like to say, which I had quoted earlier. Again, things can vary. Each of us can have a different set of things picked out. Some of the things which I didn't pick out also happened to me. So yeah, so I didn't really salary, honestly. When I was doing hospital management, I was saying, okay, if I get monthly about 8,000 to 12,000, I'll be happy in 5 years time. When I was in hospital management. So, but then when I got out to see the real world, and when I saw the opportunities, when I started taking those opportunities, in a rightful way, uh, the career ascension came about. Okay, so whatever goals you're picking, you need to have it as a measurable element. Measurable element as in money, as in number of years in which you will achieve that. Okay, so that brings us to the next thing. Whatever goals you're picking up, the specific goals, the measurable goals should also be achievable, should be realistic. And as I said, you need to have a timeline fixed for this. This is when, from being a hospital management student, you will start becoming a smart hospital management student. And I'm sure your professors are there to guide you, and they will definitely help you with the smart workflow. So all that you need to do is knock, knock. Okay. So the next important thing is the focus of our world today. We all know about the corona pandemic. We are in our lifetime, we are living one of the worst times of we can't even think of anything more worse than this. But yes, see, in our earlier generations, people have seen even the world war. Some of our ancestors could have seen other plagues and stuff. But then this kind of a pandemic, which is having a hold on the world today, it is devastating, and it is also very, very depressing. But then we need to get out of it with self help, with help from friends, family, and also mentors and guides. So, so, so this world, we see that as a VUCA world. Your fellow student also beautifully told about VUCA, what is VUCA and stuff. So today, as healthcare management students, I want you to understand this VUCA concept. This concepts, our education systems follows a very rigid thing. So newer frameworks, concepts may not be completely introduced and stuff. But today, we all know that we are living in a VUCA world. VUCA actually came in the early, in the mid 80s and stuff. But in reality, for us, for India, and for all of us here as healthcare management professionals or healthcare management students, we can definitely say we are at the eye of the storm, the center part of the storm where the intensity would be really, really high and stuff. So what is VUCA world? When you plot it in a XY graph, when saying that how well can you predict the outcome of your actions and how much do you know about the situation, we can plot the four quadrants of VUCA. One is the ambiguity. Now, in ambiguity, you have a lack of clarity about meaning of an event. Many of you might have got into this course because somebody said so. Many of you got into this course because you needed to do a PG course. Some of you would have gotten into the course because you really knew about hospital management. You have seen people who have done hospital management, and you have taken them as your role models. But that percentage is very, very less, 80-20 percentage only is that. But many of you, the same thing happened to me. I joined hospital management not by luck but by accident. I might have gone on to do my marine microbiology in a foreign university after my graduation in microbiology. That was my dream to things change. So an event happened, and then a lot of things followed, and before I could realize, I was studying hospital management at Apollo Hospitals, Chennai. So for you also, a lot of people, this ambiguity would be there. This ambiguity would continue even with respect to your entire academics and even in your early career phase. This is where people like us from the industry could help, could give you a perspective. And I really appreciate the university for taking such an initiative, for having industry professionals come and talk to you, so that we can tell you what is the ambiguity there and how you can overcome those. And similarly, another thing is about the uncertainty. This is really the big heights now. We are unclear about the present. Some of the small hospitals and clinics have closed. They are not aware when they are going to reopen. Many of the hospital have whoever had luckily separate access and this thing have been able to separately manage with the COVID wards and stuff. So there is an unclear about the present. Then we also have complexity. Now, complexity is with the multiple key decision factors that one has to make. So today, you guys in, as I said, plethora of opportunities are there that also makes it complex for you to decide. That's why I said understand your mission, understand your goals, have smart goals, and focus on that. Then the complexity automatically would get regressed. Volatility, rate of change. Rate of change with respect to economy of India. You know, we all know what is the thing, but then that's not just India. It's a pandemic. It's across the world. So how do we have a counter attack for this VUCA? Volatility can be attacked with a clear vision, uncertainty with a clear understanding, complexity with clarity, break down into smaller fragments, smaller roles, smaller goals. You will be able to progress better in your career. Ambiguity by agility. Be agile. A lot of you would have heard this term, but there are a lot of agile tools, a lot of tools which, as healthcare management students, we all need to be aware of. Okay, so this was some time back after we started uh, the corona pandemic. Full lockdown had happened in the country, and you all know this lady. She is Kiran Masumdar Shah. She's a managing director of Biocon, and a wonderful person. Phenomenal strides. Epitome for women leadership, women corporate leadership. We find very few in that space, but then for many of the females out here, people like Kiran Masumdar Shah should also be one of your role models. You could look at the career and read you can understand a lot from them and stuff. Even for boys, you could read about them. You would know the struggle. You would know the decision choices that they had to make in their life, and how they have achieved whatever they have achieved at this point of time. So she had said that healthcare can be India's next IT sector. Okay, so which is very very true. We had the boom in the late 90s, mid 90s and late 90s. After the liberalization happened, the IT sector boom, just still there. A day before, also yesterday, if you look at the stock market, all tech stocks were cruising high and stuff. So, important thing for you to know is even in this VUCA world, there is a positive industry outlook. So, having said, you need to have a mission, you need to have smart goals, understand what is VUCA, how to counter it, and the positive outlook factor, which has been told and advised by industry leaders and specialists. What is it that those which are required to make a career? So let us look at career as something which you're cooking. What are all the ingredients which would make your career an astounding one? The core of it is your values. Your values and interests. It all starts with that. You know, your values and interests are something which nature versus nurture. You would have cultivated it for a period of time. You would have read all this in your organizational behavior. Okay. So the values and interests are something which is there in you. You need to keep fueling that. You can. It's very difficult to correct the values, but then you can make efforts to change your outlook and stuff. So those forms the key, the foundation pillars for the next two elements, which is the education and experience. At this point of time, all that you have is education. You don't have the experience. Many of you are freshers. Many of you are Many of you would have come out of school, started graduation, finished graduation, started post graduation. So education and experience are two facets again. So you have education. That's why you are called freshers. You are unbiased. You know the theory. You know the concept. So you have to test the hypothesis in the real life world. That which would give you very rich experiences. So yeah, there are phenomenal experiences when you will get as part of being a student and post your student life as a healthcare administrator also. So the other important thing is skills and goals. So the earlier you define your goals, the better it is to get focused on that. Skills, this is something which we feel it is lacking. The intent for upgrading the skills for not only healthcare management students, for anybody, is lacking. So that is something you guys have to work on. Skills are something which you can learn and which you can imbibe into your, you can hard code it into your DNA. So if you can get these right, you will have an astounding career. We will talk about what and all it is. So yes, we are in management. We should talk about theories which has talked about how we need to go about all these things, which is why there is so much of focus on so many theories in management, and many of these theories have given worthwhile results to the organizations or to the people who have utilized it. So what we need to do, we need to learn from those. So Mintzberg, has classified the managerial roles in an organization into 10 boxes. He says there is an interpersonal role, an informational role, and a decision role. So early on in your career, you can get into interpersonal role or an information role, but as you grade further, you will become getting into the decisional role. Okay. Now, in your interpersonal role, you could be a figurehead, you could be a leader, you could be a liaison. Again, there would be level. You could be a recipient, you could be a disseminator, or you could be a spokesperson for the role. Okay. So, or in a decisional role, you could be the entrepreneur, you could be the disturbance handler, crisis manager, you could be the resource allocator, the supply chain manager, or you could be the negotiator, the billing manager and stuff. So, each of these roles you can identify with roles in hospitals, in healthcare management and stuff, and it holds true even today. Now, as I said, many of you would predominantly look at areas in hospitals, safe beds, they call it. And many of the universities also have seen campus for recruitment, it would be hospitals. It would be this hospital or that. I have not seen, institutes where it is predominantly otherwise. Maybe in the IMs and ISBs and other institutes, it's the reverse. But in most of the universities, I've seen hospitals coming in and taking you for placements or taking you for internship, absorbing you for a job. Well, so in this, as you study healthcare management, you need to understand one thing. Whatever you get into operations is the crux of it. You take HR, you will get into HR operations. Finance, there is a finance operations. Marketing, there is a marketing operation. So operations is something which is holding it all together. So I keep telling those who come to me for career guidance, or even those who are my mentees and stuff. Now operations is like the brick and wall and the cement. It is the one that holds it all together. After that, whatever you're doing on top of it, you're putting a putty, you're doing a painting, you're doing a wallpaper, you're putting a carpet, you're putting a wooden thing, you're putting an aluco board, it is up to you. Okay, so but operations of is actually the core role, and operations is associated with all these things. And no doubt you can look at areas in each of it. And if you guys want to differentiate from the traditional roles, if any of you have done a BCom background and got into healthcare management, there are tremendous roles happening in finance for which you need to upskill yourself. You need to know what is how to deal with a lot of data. You need to know the various costing related exercises, whether it's a market plus costing or an activity based costing and all those stuff. These are all the skills, these are all the specific frameworks that which you need to be similarly in marketing and brandcom. Traditional marketing is having a huge swing towards digital marketing. So you need to equip yourself with valid certifications and internships from organizations which will give you immersive exposure on these areas. Quality, needless to say, just don't look at it from the perspective of NABH. Look at the perspective of quality from quality. We need quality. We don't need quality for NABH, quality for an accreditation, because today we are all tuned to that. Okay, so quality aspects, as in even whether you can go an extra mile and deliver what is said beyond NABH. Okay, so beyond NABL, beyond JCI, that is quality, that is the real quality, and that's what would differentiate us as a healthcare management personnel. Medical services, medical operations are plenty. And even in medical operations, I would certainly like to talk about physician leadership and nurse leadership, which is fast gaining reputation here in India as well. In the Western regions, it is very, very good. Physician leaders and nursing leaders are doing tremendous, changes in the way healthcare management is. Supply chain management, not many healthcare management wants to go into this, but then I would say a lot of opportunities exist even for people if you don't want to get into hardcore finance, data analytics, business intelligence, and all those stuff. Supply chain management is another haven for you guys. HR is known, well known, but then HR has changed again. It's no more the traditional HR which is there. We are in a phase of dynamic HR this thing. So when it comes to the new age healthcare and the health tech startups, every day we know of so many new healthcare companies started. Say you have home healthcare companies which have come up. You have geriatric management companies which had come up. I still remember in 2004-5, a friend of mine and me, we were all putting together a project called Arpan. So we know in Gujarat, many of the parents live, but the kids live in foreign countries, especially more so in the US or the UK, and a few others in other widespread geographies, including Australia and New Zealand as well. So we brought this model which said that okay, so you launched, you enroll in this model. Every month we'll have one doctor visit to your home to visit your parents and stuff. We will do home sampling for the thing. 2004, 2005. You know what? It was not a success. It was not a success. Though it was an innovative idea in 2004, 2005, it was not a success. But today, you have so many geriatric management companies, a dime a dozen emerging, sprouting everywhere across the country. So very many innovations are there, and these innovations are rampantly changing the way we think. And health tech has actually done the last mile connectivity. When earlier you want to buy a food, you go to the hotel, you order, you take parcel, and you come back home, or you eat over there. Tomatoes and Swiggies and Food Panda and Uber Eats and so many. So like that, these are all called as a last mile connectivity. This complete convenient for both the players. The restaurant, and as a user, you're still able to savor the dishes done by the restaurant. Same things have happened in health tech also. Your laboratory aggregator, your pharma aggregator, your so many ECG, tele ECG models, telemedicine models, which we are also in. So there is a lot of opportunities. Again, what you need to know for this, how do you get into this? I would say look into design thinking. I'm a teaching faculty for one of the universities for design thinking, and I feel that is something which would change you from a traditional hospital manager to a new age hospital manager, a new age healthcare professional, and would pave ways for getting into various health tech startups and even established health IT companies as well. Health insurance and TPAs are another big and major area for you to get in. You can become, employee of very many third-party administrators where all these bills are coming in and stuff. Uh, these third-party administrators even take alternative medicine or dental science people as reviewers for their processes. So if anybody are there and would like a good career, a very stable career, a not so very stressful career, you can look at the TPA setups and stuff. Health insurance, again, you can get into the sales side of it, the networking side of it, or you could even be at the operation side of it and stuff. So there are a plethora of options over there. Another area, I don't know how many of you are biomedical engineers, but then let me be very clear. It's not that only biomedical healthcare administrators can get into equipment manufacturing and allied industries. Anybody can. So management, MHA and stuff, there are companies, health tech companies, which really requires you from the equipment manufacturing side. Okay, so the one of the key things which are happening in India, if you guys are aware, the recent sessions and news, is that a lot many health tech parks are being opened. We had recently a park in Kerala opened. There is already the Andhra Pradesh MedTech zone, and I'm sure similarly a lot many parks are there. If you just Google, you will know. And what does all these MedTech zones do? They manufacture all these equipment. Consulting, all very big consulting, Accenture consulting. There are healthcare management students who have got into that. Lean specialist, again, very good area. Get into lean and agile are the key things now. So lean management, Six Sigma, five diagrams to tell you about it and stuff. Pharmacy management is another great area for you to explore. India is becoming the medicine supplier to the world. Recently, after many companies have closed doors in China, they're all looking to move to India. Has the highest number of FDA approved US FDA approved medical plans outside of the US, and also the UK based, if I'm not wrong, the MHRDP approved boards over there. Healthcare journalism. I don't know how many of you have the flair for writing, be it in Gujarati or in English or in Hindi or in whichever mother language tongue that you have. You can create healthcare magazines. You can join some companies. There are Modern Medicare, Healthcare Express, Healthcare Radius. So many. I'm just naming a few. Voice of Healthcare. So you would all be aware of many of these, maybe. So there are plenty of options for you out there. So as I said, smart goals, smart this thing. So this is a circular process. You need to do your self-assessment. You need to have career awareness, which we have given. Goal setting, you have to plan it with all your mentors, be it your professors or be it your role models or who are coming to talk to you. Upskill and increase your network. Each of you should have a LinkedIn ID now. Each of you should be writing something on LinkedIn at least once in a week, liking the post, replying to the post, understanding what that means and stuff. And eventually you will all keep performing. But then when in your is going down, it's time for you to do a self-assessment again. So it is a circular, it's a cycle. It keeps repeating, like plan, do, check, act cycle of yours. Okay, so as I said, throughout this career of mine, I've explained through examples how I progressed and stuff. So post Nagpur, I was back in Chennai managing a diagnostic center. Then I joined with their cancer center in Chennai. Then I was transitioned into starting SRM Institute for Medical Sciences as a core member team to start that institution. SRM is a big institutional group as well. So international stint at Indonesia. Then I came back to India, did some consulting. I joined Healthcare Global and got promoted into Chief Operating Officer. I stayed there for 2.5 years. When I joined, they were doing about 180 crores per annum. But when I left, the average had raised to around 225, 230 crores per annum. So that was a good amount of increase, even during the time when the National Pharmacy Pricing Authority were cutting down the profits on the medicine side and stuff. One thing again, which you all need to know is what got you here won't get you there. I strongly believe that. So you might have certain early success, but then as you grow, as you climb up the ladder, it's easy to fall also. So, so it's important to climb in a nice and steady manner with firm footing. And at each point of time, understand your skills, what you're bringing on to the table, understand your interests, whether you would be able to sustain this with that particular job area that which you're taking. And that would definitely take you places. And just to conclude uh, my talk, again, this I took it from my mentor only, and it has impressed me like how he has impressed upon me for life. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. This was said by Margaret Mead, anthropologist. So each of you could make a difference in your own way. All that you need to do is believe and strive towards it. Have smart goals and counter the VUCA. Take help whenever you need. You're now surrounded by people who are ready to help you, friends and your professors. Corporate world is not like good and bad. It has its own peak of happiness and trough of disillusionment, which I would like to pick from the Gartner's hype cycle. So you can slide down that very easily in a corporate world. Change. Okay. Thank you for your patient listening. I once again thank Mr. the Chancellor, Vice Chancellor of Hemachandra North Gujarat University for having me today and delivering this lecture. I
Thank you, sir, for your sharing the great views. And really, we got that the strong determination and the innovative capacity of thinking only can lead students to achieve a success. Now, I'm taking questions from chat box. That first question is raised by our professor, Dr. Bhupinder Chaudhary, sir. That the question is, what should be the focus of hospital management student in this pandemic time?
yeah. So, Professor, what subject you teach, Professor?
Variety of subjects from starting from healthcare environment to quality to hospital planning and even disaster management.
Okay. So I like to take some leaf out of what you, as professors and all, would be teaching. So when you read marketing management and all that stuff, there is this Porter's five force theory. There is this value stuff. So in all this, what do they say is, in value chain analysis, especially again, Porter had a lot to do with that. You can either be a cost leader or a differentiator. Okay. So I think students have to look at being the differentiator. You can't be a cost leader. Like if one of your friend is going to join a job for 15,000, you can't go and approach them and say, okay, I would be joining for 14,000. That's so it's important to be differentiator. So differentiation come with all the upskilling that you can do. Yeah, value chain analysis is a wrong example because it talks about the company from the business point of view, but we can extrapolate some things from that. And so you need to see what are your strengths. As I said, your values and your interests, your education, experiences.
Cloud computing, data analytics, business analytics, how we can develop the orientation of the students and how we can develop their skills to make them friendly towards the industry and make a competent that when they will enter, it will be good for those.
Yeah. So again, this there are multiple ways. As I said, As individual students, you could take interest into areas, your focus areas, and then go. Another way, which I would appeal honestly to the Board of Studies panel of your university, is to revisit what is being taught for you. Bring in electives in the third and fourth semester which are aligned with this new age things. We can relook at the academic knowledge that which is there provided from the college also. A lot of universities have done that. I'm not saying that what they have done is good, or what is being done at HNGU is not so good, but I'm just saying we need to change with the times. Okay, so if you look at say something like cloud computing, nothing. You as healthcare administrators need not know anything about cloud computing. You just need a immersion about what is cloud computing. You need to know what is on-prem versus cloud charges, which if you go in many of the things, there are calculators to charge. And on a normal range scale, cloud storage is about 20 to 30% lesser cost than your on-prem storage, and it gives you a lot of advantages. It also has certain what do you say cons to it, but those cons are only when you're conservative. If you're a conservative person, if you're a conservative outlook, then those cons would apply. Okay, so but then what happens? You will go up and ending investing a lot on premises, and whatever the investment that you're doing on premises, in 4 or 5 years, technology obsolescence comes in, sets in. So all those things. So you need to know the orientation of all those. Okay, you need to know the some of the frameworks. Say for example, design thinking. Design thinking is a beautiful framework which you all need to know. 5S is a beautiful framework. See, again, all these has quality related things also. It's not that there are people who go higher up in those traditional roles also because they know this. For example, we all know Microsoft Office, right? Okay, we all know Microsoft Office. We know Word, we know PowerPoint, we know Excel. Okay, so a few other applications we'll be knowing. How many of us know what is the name of the business intelligence tool of Microsoft? It's called Power BI. Okay, so and you can look at internet is there, World Wide Web, Dr. Google is there also. Okay, it's also about the aptitude. Okay, so the education is structured in our country. At the universities, we are structuring because that is the foundation. We need, as part of some of the board of studies, we said that these and all we can't compromise on because these are the building blocks. You need to know, like Professor said, disaster management is something which you need to know. Okay, especially in Gujarat, we have seen some few disasters in the last 20, 30 years. So knowing all this is important, but how to apply those things is where you get differentiated. A student with a BCom degree who does hospital management, who also gets into Power BI, interest with Power BI or even Tableau, another good BI tool, or any other thing, even Excel, advanced Excel. Like in my course, what I'm doing, my professors are saying we are doing something called in operations research. We have that linear programming, right? We do that same linear programming in my data analytics course now in IIM also. But then we don't do the mathematical way in paper. We use Excel solver functionality and we do it. It's only the tools and the skills will make you better. What you are getting from your university, hats off to them. Those are the building blocks because they are servicing this thing to the entire batch of students, and each of you can have different interests. You have to raise those questions to them. or the industry experts so that we can channelize you towards the need. Say, for example, one person would have, would like their cha sweet. One person would like it salty. Okay, so we tell the buffet counter, you have to go that side for that one, this side for this one. Okay, like that. Your professors and we all as industry resource personnel are available to guide you. But you have to set your goals. You have to define your interests. We can only give you the building blocks at the university level. And those finite things that you want to do after that can be facilitated by us.
Thank you, sir, for very detailed answer. Just as we have discussed that insurance and TPA sector is also very attractive sector. Now the government of India is shifting our system from public health system in insurance based model. So this kind of the government move can support and to the healthcare management students because it can create ample of opportunity. They require facilitators to perform all this activity.
Yes, yes. A lot more healthcare facilitation is required in all this. You all need to start, when it comes to government sector, I would say you should have already registered yourself with the job enrollment office, job registration. There's one for every state and things. There are some offices. You need to enroll over there right away. And enrollment over there, if I'm not wrong, starts immediately after 10th standard. You can enroll. So if you have brothers and sisters who have just completed 10, get them enrolled for that. Okay, so that on the long run, whatever they specialize in, they can try and vie for a government related job. Okay, definitely yes. The thing is, the Indian healthcare scenario was actually a mix of the government and the private players, and there were a lot of public-private partnerships also which were existing. Uh, but what is now happening is the government wants to take more and more control at a framework level. Okay. If you actually look at it now, the National Health Authority is there, the National Digital Health Mission is there, so the National Digital Health Blueprint is there, Digital Information Security and Healthcare Act is also coming up now. So the personal data privacy bill of 2019 is something which we are waiting for it to be passed as well. So all these things are coming. Even if you look at DCGI is going to have a name change. Lot of reform activities are happening at the government. The big change, the Medical Council of India, who were repealed, and then supersession of the Medical Council of India, the Board of Governors were appointed. They functioned wonderfully well in the last 2 years, and in 2000, not even a month back, I think about 15-20 days back, we had the National Medical Council coming in to picture. Okay, so all these are changing. The telemedicine practice guidelines has been initiated, not only for allopathy doctors. If you go and see, even for certain Ayush related specialties, telemedicine guidelines is there by the government. So that is the intent with which the government is working. Okay, it definitely requires a lot of young blood to join forces with them, but you need to understand these processes. You need to understand the policy, and many of these are available online. We go and download movies, and we go download lot many other things in the internet, right? So this every day you could tell yourself, every time when I'm watching 10 minutes of a YouTube video for fun, I will also do 10 minutes of TEDx videos or 10 minutes of National Health Authority associated video. So you will know what is happening with all those things. See, the ICMR related organizations are there in every state. In Tamil Nadu, I know there are two such institutions for ICMR in the Chennai region. So like that, there are plenty of opportunities. It's about the thing. See, the professors or the professionals like us, we can say, okay, if you're thirsty, you need to drink water. You can go and drink water over there. Okay. We can't drag you to that which you need to do. Okay, so that's why the intent and aptitude of students is very, very important. Lot of opportunities coming from the government side of it, and government is also going to appoint a lot of third party players who will be helping the government, because the government is very clear. I am setting the framework. I want aggregators to come in, and I'm going to give them the sandbox. Like NDHM, they've given the sandbox to private players. So we are all equipping the government to set this all up as well. So a lot of
Okay.
opportunities are there.
Thank you, sir. Just we have discussed about our country. Now, some question is asked about abroad. Question asked by Anirudh Jadhav, that what are the scopes of doing job abroad after masters, and does it add more value when I will come back to and want to settle in my country further?
If you want to settle back in your country, when do you want to come back to your country? Make a clear plan for that. Okay. If you want to get out of the country to work, early careerists is the best time. Freshers, very difficult. Okay. But with 1 to 2 years experience, early careerist is very, very, what to say, easy to get jobs. You can get entry level jobs in those countries wherein you will understand the healthcare systems of the country. If you actually go to those countries, you will know the healthcare system completely varies than what we are following in India. So we have followed a system, they are following their own system. So your alignment has to happen. Now, how much of international healthcare as a subject you're seeing, I don't know. I don't know how much of international healthcare management as a subject coverage is there. But healthcare system in the US, say for example, the Obamacare. Okay, what do you know about the Obamacare? Say for example, uh, most of you, when you say international, you would be looking at opportunities mostly in the Middle East or the SARC regions or the Southeast Asian regions. Okay, this is the areas where, and for those who are looking for immigration, you will start with some level and then we'll move on and stuff. It's good to move after you have 1 or 2 years of experience. Scope is there, but only thing that which you need to really be very clear about is it worth it? Is it worth it to go abroad and work when all your family and friends are going to be over here? It's a moral question. Okay, so if you want to earn a lot of money, yes, nobody is going to stop you. The thing is, in India, we're not like certain other countries which says, okay, you need to do this. We are the freedom is there with each and every one of us. You can choose to go abroad, but then be very clear. You can't put your legs on both the boats, my friend. If you go outside and you are there for a considerable period of time, you will never look back at India. Let us keep it very simple. In case if you are coming back to India, you can't work over here. In the third month, you will start complaining and start looking for a job again outside and go. So that is the reality. So the transition and balancing has to be done by only you. So if your thing is, okay, I want to earn more money, more money, more money, go. Challenges are also there over there. Okay. You will not be seen as their own people. In India, that's not the case. I'm from South India. I can work anywhere. I have seen that cultural diversity really good in India. I have never felt that I was seen as a South Indian. Though I don't speak much of North Indian languages, I just barely make it and stuff. But so this choice is left to you. Opportunities are there. You need to know. Say for example, in India, when you're searching for a job, you are in certain websites like Naukri, Monster Jobs, and all this stuff. So for example, if you're looking at Middle East, you need to be in a website called bait.com. Or if you're looking at Southeast Asia, maybe Indeed.com. So you need to know what they do in their country. What is the right channel to approach for those country? And many of the times, being Gujaratis, you would, I've seen many of my Gujarati friends who have moved out of the country move out with immigration only, where their chacha or chachi is over there, or their brother or sister is over there. So you immigrate over there, you live with them in their house, and very good society. Na? It's a joint family society. Like even our Tamil Nadu is more conservative joint family society. So that way they will take care of you. You start an entry level job in your area and you continue with that. Okay, so that is the thing. Only like guys, they come back only to Gujarat to get married to a Gujarati girl and take her also back. The girls, they will find a Gujarati boy over there itself and get married, right? That's the culture. I've seen it. So, so the thing is, the choice is yours. You can look at international opportunities. Opportunities are there, but at times like these pandemic, you will be stranded in those countries. There have been very many healthcare workers who came back to the country during this period of time. So, your choice. Go, that's what I've given you some tools like bait.com, indeed.com, and stuff. You need to read about their healthcare laws and stuff. You need to know about the international healthcare law as such. It's left to you.
I'm very thankful, sir, for good answer. But last question is there. Last question that we have explored about the job in India, we have explored about the job in abroad. Now the question that government of India is now promoting too much about the startups. That if someone want to be actually leader, entrepreneur, his own boss, what is more important thing what you have observed on basis of our experience, that innovative idea is more important or experience is more important?
Not the idea, not the experience, the team. When investors are looking at it, they are looking at the team, the maturity of the team, and everything else after that. Your innovation could be $1 million innovation. In no time you can be a unicorn. Startups which makes more than $1 million, we call them unicorns. Okay, so we have quite a few healthcare unicorns in the country as well. The important thing is, you know, speaking to students from Gujarat, you are all entrepreneurial. I know that very well. It's hard coded in your DNA. Okay, in South we're all very job secure people. We will join a job and we'll work in a job. Now it is changing slightly because of various um, paradigm shift which is happening across the world. But yeah, so entrepreneurial stint is good. In fact, one of the institute which is ranked very high in entrepreneurial related learnings is there in Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar, the Hansol Gandhinagar highway, just next to Apollo hospitals, called the MDI and stuff. Before that, only we noodles during a break and stuff. So entrepreneurial nature is very very important, and it's about what is your idea, how good is your team, and how deep are your pockets. Because many of the startups, they start with bootstrap. Very few startups get angel investors or very early stage investors or seed funding. And in case if companies are taking that also, what is happening is they are giving out a lot of equity. So unless you are able to bootstrap and manage it with your own funds for 2 3 years, if you are ready to do that struggle, put in that struggle, you strongly believe in that idea, and that dream is one which does not allow you to sleep, pursue that, not a problem. But there are challenges. Numerous startups are emerging and getting fallen also. So there are a lot of startup hubs where they help new startups. They channelize, they provide a lot of resources for learning from experiences, and they help you reshape your thoughts, help with investment as well. So all these are left to you. You need to make the right choices. Being entrepreneurial is good. Definitely
Even
will pay in the longer run.
Thank you, sir. Now I want to request our
excuse
honorable
me,
head of the
excuse
department.
me. I want to indulge.
Yes, sir.
So even Dr. Raj Rajan, Government of Gujarat under SSIP, Startup and Innovation Policy, Government of Gujarat is providing 2 lakh rupees for the startup to encourage the startup in Gujarat. But unfortunately, our students do not apply for the same. Especially government has launched because I am going to sometimes for the evaluation and all this thing. The majority of the students that I found from for the startup in Gujarat. But I didn't found that the government university students do not apply for the same. At least they should start applying for the new innovative startup. Uh, there is a history on the startup that 80 to 85% startup fails. This is what the fact in India also. But the startup who succeeds, that is a great step by the we people or the citizen of India. So at least 15% startup who succeed. That so government is encouraging startup for the new students also, because the employment is a difficult task, but startup can be the one of the way. Even government provides 2 lakh rupees to them in the if they have to prepare the proposal and they have to submit to the SSIP in the range of 2 lakh rupees, whatever startup they would like to make it. So
That's a
that
very good initiative. Yeah.
yeah. So
So
yeah, yes sir.
yeah, so I'm sure. See, the thing is, it's always about knocking the right doors. So
Yeah,
you have your Professor, Patel Sab, who has this immense experience, who can guide you with the startup funding, early seed funding and stuff. Uh, you just need to knock at the right places. That's all I would always say. Opportunities are always there. Uh, what happens is if we close our eyes and say the world is dark, nobody can help us. So that's
yeah,
the
yeah,
thing.
yeah. So at least they should start. Thank you very much, Raj Rajan sir, for sparing your valuable time as a immense knowledge that our student got, and they got tremendous motivation with your session. Uh, with blessing, we end up the session. Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time to us, and I expect you always be with the department, and wherever you wanted to guide us, so we will definitely move these steps towards. Thank you very
Sure,
much.
sure, sure. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Now I would like to request Bhupender Chaudhary, sir, please share your views.
Yeah, just a few words at the end. Mr. Raj Rajan, I would like to share that a few days back, me and Pawan were discussing, an expert on this topic. So he was all praises for you. He said, I have the right person who would fit your requirement. And I'm glad that, Pawan acted as a bridge between our university and you. So we hope that we'll keep in touch, and I'll take the liberty to ask my students to, they can directly get in touch with you
Yes.
and take benefit from your experience. And because you have worked in Gujarat for a couple of years, so that connection also will help the students to, get in touch with you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for your
Uh,
Thank
time.
you. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. At last, as per the formality, I would like to request my colleague, Dr. Palak Vora, please deliver thankful speech before our ending session.
Thank you, Jugal. Good evening to one and all. Myself, Dr. Palak Vora, a master student in Department of Hospital Management. It is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of our team. We are grateful to Dr. K.K. Patel, sir, head of the Department of Hospital Management, Dr. Bhupinder Chaudhary, sir, organizing secretary for this session, Dr. Sushman Sharma, sir, Dr. Nimesh Bhujak, sir. Uh, Thank you, sir, for your guidance and support. And we want to express our gratitude to our invited speaker, Mr. Raj Rajan, sir, Thank you for sharing your valuable knowledge with us. We are grateful to have you here, sir. I extend my vote of thanks to whole organizing team who have worked wholeheartedly behind the screen. And I would like to share. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge for immense contribution of Mr. Pawan Duggal, sir. Lastly, my sincere thanks to all the participants for patient listening and sparing their valuable time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thanks.